having challenges? Yeah, move on. Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk about, mindset. That's what I've been asked to talk about. The man who wants me to stand in the middle, if I'm going off, let me know. So, how do you understand mindset? And everybody talks about it, the issue of mindset, our mindsets, and all that. I don't know how many of you in this room or watching elsewhere who have had that experience where you decide to buy something. Let me use a car. It's easier to use a car. You decide to buy a particular type of car, or you like it so much, and suddenly you get on the road and you see so many of those cars. I don't know if you've had that experience. And then you ask yourself, well, were these cars there all this time? It happens to all of us. They've been there all the time, but your mind had not been set for you to notice it. And it's as simple as that. The mind kind of sets you up to do many things, and it comes in very diverse ways, which at times makes us overlook its impact. Because it's so diverse, it's very easy to overlook its impact. For me, the mind is simply that which sets you up. And it sets you up as a result of many things, as a result of the things you believe, mainly, as a result of how you see life, as a result of what is often called psyche. What is in your mind? How are you psyched for the day? Because if your psyche is wrong, you will get a wrong result. And wrong in quotes, because really, the psyche is psyche. It may not be wrong. Maybe that is how you want to, the belief you want to have. So if I were to ask a question now, what is your outlook for the rest of the year? If I were to ask that question around, people will give me different answers. Outlook means, what are you expecting between now and December? There are those who are expecting a very good Christmas. That's their outlook, that's their mindset. There are those who are expecting to make much more money before Christmas. There are those who will not celebrate Christmas at all. Then there are those who think life is going to be very, very hard. There are those who will think that the dollar and the local currency is going to get tougher. There are those who think inflation is going to get worse. There are those who think they will be in school next week. If I were to ask for your outlook, that outlook that you see is inside your mind. It's not out there. What we tend to forget is that everything you see, and just look around you, you're sitting on a chair, you're wearing a scarf, you're wearing a shirt, you're wearing a trousers, I'm speaking through a microphone, there are cameras here, there's a building we are in, there's a screen. Every single thing around us once was in somebody's mind. Everyone. Has it occurred to you? They existed only in somebody's mind. It was not tangible. The person who decided to invent this microphone didn't have a microphone, but he created a product that he imagined, or she imagined, and now we can speak through it. The person who invented this camera didn't have that type of camera, and today he invents it, and cameraman wants you to stand in the middle so they can focus on you. It becomes real. That's how he imagined it. And he must have invented it far from where I'm standing, but he knew one day somebody has to speak and has to be projected on the screen, and the person has to stand at a particular position. It was in somebody's mind. Therefore, very often, we end up believing in false things, which kind of tune our mindset. I tweet a lot, and one of the tweets I made recently had to do with the fact that we are told to believe that seeing is believing. In other words, they tell you, if you have not seen it, it's not true. But actually, seeing is not believing. It is believing which is seeing. It's only when you imagine it in your mind and see it in your mind that nobody sees, that it actually turns into the chair you are sitting on. It is because you believed. That is how you saw. And I'm not a psychologist. I'm just telling you the reality of life. It's as simple as that. So your mindset can set you up for success or failure depending on how you treat your mindset. That's the first one. But mindset comes in several forms, and I'll share a few. First is what I call the desire mindset. The desire mindset is a type of mindset you have when you desire something. But there are two aspects of that. The first is desire when you lack. In other words, the desire you have in your mind or the mental attitude you have when you don't have what you are looking for. And remember, many people get frustrated only when they are holding on to something they no longer need or looking for something they are not getting. And therefore, when you desire something, it's very, very important the type of mindset you have when you desire it, because you are desiring it when you don't have. There's another type of mindset. The mindset you have when you actually already have what you desire. And we tend to overlook that. Let me explain the distinction between the two. The mindset I have when I am looking for something I don't have is whether I can actually get it. It's whether I have the ability to produce it or whether I have hope that it will come. And that attitude will affect whether I get it or not. If I have the attitude that it is difficult, I won't get it, it affects how I even make a step towards it. That's important. So when I don't have, there is something that I feel and how I have an attitude towards that. But when I have also, I have a certain attitude. Because when I can have the wrong mindset. How does that occur? For those who believe in scarcity, when they have, because they came from a place when they didn't have, when they have, they believe that soon it will get short and therefore have to grab more. They get greedy. Think about it again. Greediness is deeply a person with a mindset of fear and scarcity. A person who believes in false concept that things are scarce. For those of you who are Christians, if John 10 verse 10 says, I am come that you might have life and have it abundantly. Abundance is the opposite of scarcity. You cannot have abundance and believe in scarcity at the same time. The two are against each other. And therefore, if you believe in scarcity and you have, you are likely to grab more and hoard. Because that's the natural reaction in your mindset, and that is desire when you have. Because we tend to focus so much on desire when we don't have. It's as if when we have, we no more desire. We desire, but we desire more of the same. Or at times, we may desire to innovate, to share, to create, to do things which no more, which used not to exist, or which doesn't exist at the moment in time. So it is very, very important to take care of the type of desire you have when you already have. And that's quite important, and I will return to this particular point, because it can lead you to the point where you are so greedy that you are actually not taking care of your health or taking care of yourself because you want to grab more. You view yourself in your mindset in terms of the number of things you possess. And that desire when you have is actually more dangerous than desire when you don't have. Okay. No matter, that's the interruptions. I want to deal with interruptions mindset. No. Okay, sorry, let's deal with this first before we go to interruptions mindset. Let's deal with the mind to market, which is the entrepreneur's mindset. Because most of you, I understand, are hoping to become entrepreneurs, hoping to create. Now, I've already said everything you see was once in somebody's mind. And therefore, if an entrepreneur or you desire anything, as you sit here, you have something in your mind that you want to achieve. In fact, I believe that is why you are here in the first place, or why you are listening to this in the first place, because you must have some desire that you want to achieve. Now, that belief and the attitude that drives you to be able to attain what you desire to achieve is driven by the mindset you have towards that. If you don't believe it's doable, believe it's doable, you will not take any action. And also, there are times because we lack the belief that I can do it, even though I have that, intention, I have innovated, I continue wasting time. Many years ago, one of my close friends, we were born on the same day. He came to my office, and I used to procrastinate a lot. And I decided to cure my procrastination. So I put a big notice behind my desk, which simply said, do not defer until evening what the morning can accomplish. No, it was a quotation I read somewhere. In other words, if you can do the thing in the morning, just don't wait until evening. And it was my way of curing my procrastination. It helped me a lot. But this, my friend, is a very funny guy. He doesn't procrastinate, but he has a fine way of turning everything upside down. He invites me to lunch the next day. I go to his office, and he says he has a new notice behind his desk he wants me to see. And he had put a big notice there. why do you do today what you can do tomorrow? He had just turned upside down. My do not defer until evening what the morning can accomplish. His point is, why are you doing today what you can do tomorrow? Why is this relevant to mindset? If you have a strong belief that what you want to do, you can achieve it, you take an action every day, every single day. Many people see that they have to wait. In their mindset they believe they have to wait until a certain point in time when it is perfect. Wrong. There is never a perfect moment. Absolutely never a perfect moment. The perfect moment is actually now. 2, many people are entrepreneurs and they are unable to achieve what they desire to achieve because they have a wrong mindset about the future. Let me ask a question, the lady in front of me. What is the future? Whilst you are giving me the answer, let me take water. What is the future? How do you understand the future? Give me 1 or 2 words about the future. What exactly is it? Somebody can volunteer. What is the future? When? It's yet to come. Okay. Any other volunteer? Yes. What is the future? It's unknown. That which is unknown. Yes. The future is today, tomorrow. Actually, yesterday, today was yesterday's future. That's the truth. 1 hour ago, this program was in the future. At the time I asked the question, the future has already passed. The future actually is not tomorrow. That's one mindset that is good to develop for an entrepreneur. Because the future is nothing but the movement of present to present. That's what it actually is. It's a continuous, non-stopping movement of present to present. At each point in time, you live in the present. But the present is constantly moving and becomes the future. And therefore, to achieve anything, the proper mindset is to forget about the future, but to focus on that which you want to achieve in the future. And if you want to achieve the thing in the future, then you are only starting it now. And every day, do something about it. How does it? A simple thing like this conference you are holding, I'm sure somebody had a discussion long ago that let's hold this conference. And then the person decided, who are going to help me in organizing? The next day, somebody walked to Teachers Hall to make a booking. The next day, somebody called Events Tribe and all those people. The next time, somebody called the television station or whoever you are collaborating with. The next day, somebody wrote a letter. The future was being revealed, and what was to be done was being done gradually. And now the future is here. By tomorrow, it will be past. Does it hit you that the future is not tomorrow? And therefore, at times, to achieve something, all that you need to do today is to make a telephone call. That's all you may need to do. The interesting thing about achievement is that once you succeeded in making the telephone call, tomorrow you will take another step. Because your mind now tells you that it is doable. At least I made a call. And once I made a call, I have to take the next step. And I think it's one, from my personal experience, one of the things that I like to share. Forget about strategy, I talk about strategy at some different point in time. But for now, for a mindset that is needed to achieve the things you desire in the future, it is just understanding basically that the future is not tomorrow, but it's a simple movement of present to present. And at each present moment, take one small action about it, even if it means lying down in your mind and planning and imagining it. But don't just do the imagination, act on it. Okay, let's have number 4. Number 4 consists of interruptions. I cannot see it. No matter how focused you are, no matter how lucky you are, no matter how blessed you are, there will be interruptions in the things you seek to do. It happens all the time. I had expected to be here by 6:45. I wasn't here by 6:45. I'm usually not late. There was interruption. How you handle interruptions is very important. No matter how well planned this is, there will be interruptions. And interruptions come from several angles. So you may have challenges, we may call it threats, setbacks, hard times, etc., etc. These things do happen. The most important thing is not that the event happened, it is how you react to it, which is important. Because the wrong reaction to that event may make it worse or less. I always tell people that preparation is good because when adverse events occur, those who are prepared suffer less. And when positive events occur, those who are prepared get the advantage. Again, since I understand most of the people in the audience are Christians, I believe you know the parable of the 10 virgins. I don't have to explain to you. If you don't know the parable of the 10 virgins, then you need to check your Bible again. Clearly, one set of virgins were prepared. Another set were not prepared. So though the interruption was the delay, they expected the groom early. The interruption was a long delay. Those who prepared had oil in their lamp and they were able to wait much longer. It's as simple as that. So how do you handle interruptions? How do you handle adversity? It's very, very important. Now, these interruptions come from several angles and it affects your mindset. One may be external. Two may be internal. It may be very real. I have a friend who comes to me every now and then to come and take advice, and we will chat. And every time he is looking for money, and I keep telling him he's looking for the wrong thing. He should not be focusing on money. One day he came to me talking about how life is difficult, and I told him to have faith. And he was working on a project. I told him that, look, this project, you need money, but you are going to get the money if you are. I'm not an inspirational speaker. I'm not motivational speaker, as they call it. I'm not one of them. I share real life stories. If it motivates you, so be it. All right. So this guy, I kept telling him that, look, the things I have achieved in life, I achieved them through doing simple things every single day, right? And then I gave him all the advice. Just before he left, I told him that, I'm sure you are broke. Then he smiled, he said, yes. And I said, how much do you have in your pocket? And he told me, I said, which car are you going home with? He said, trotro. And I said, when you sit in the car and you remove the money to pay, something will tell you in your mind that, Charlie, this is all the money you have in the world and you are broke. He said that occurs to him every day. And I said, because we become perfect by practice. You encourage the fact that you are broke all the time. You become perfect in getting broke. Because you entertain the thought, you actually attract it. You actually attract it. It is not because you are not broke, but it's because of how you react to being broke. That's what is important. As for getting broke, it's an interruption. You get broke. We all get broke. But how you react to it as to whether this is a temporary thing and the better times are ahead and have to endure, or you think this is the end of life. And that's for poverty there. It's bad though. And all that. That's the mindset. And it's very important for an entrepreneur, you are able to handle interruptions. Because the interruptions will determine, how you handle interruptions will determine the outcome. There are certain events which are beyond your control, because the interruptions may come from outside. They are totally beyond your control. Look, nobody here determines when the sun rises and falls. Not even science has been able to determine that. The sun will rise in the morning and it will fall in the evening. It's as simple as that. But if you planned today that the sun will rise and it will fall and it rained, which you couldn't forecast, it's an interruption. Or if you planned to 2020, I had a very nice year plan ahead of me. Then COVID came from nowhere. And everybody shut down. And we were all home. Who planned for COVID? If you know somebody who plans for COVID, who planned for COVID? No, that's interruption beyond our control. But what did you do in reacting to it? And I will share my personal story. We actually activated what is called business continuity plan, which did not even include COVID in the business continuity plan. We introduced COVID into it, and we put in place every single thing. And actually, it is the highest year of revenue of all time. Yes, some people actually made more money during COVID. That's a fact. And I'm not in the medical field. So if I tell you that it was the highest revenue, year, it should tell you that I wasn't attending to sick people. I hope you understand me. So the disaster may come all right, but how you are prepared and how you react to it, may determine what you get from it or what. So if you don't have the right mental attitude, every interruption will amount to an excuse for you. And the more you pay attention to it, the more it consolidates the mindset. And your mindset will be one of excuses, whether the excuse is true or not. And the smallest thing will become excuses. We all have accidents, we have unexpected events, etc. How you react to it is what builds the mindset, and this is very important. Let's have the next one. Interpretation. We interpret things. Can I see the next slide? No. Yes. This one. People interpret things in different ways. So when events occur, how do you interpret it? There are those who may think, this happened is very fortuitous. In other words, it's very, very good it happened. Or, well, it's the will of God. Or, well, things do happen. But there are those, when these things happen, especially those of us who are Christians, we move into the superstition mode. Did my father get this? It's an ancestral curse. I still don't understand it, and I know I'm talking to Christians. I still don't understand what ancestral curse is. I know it is popular preach. I happen to be the kind of person you describe as a contrarian. So if you invite me to speak, I have very unconventional views. I cannot understand how Africans alone have ancestral curse when those who enslaved us don't have ancestral curse. If anybody should have ancestral curse, maybe they should have. But maybe it's something I don't understand. Pardon me, I'm not a perfect human being. But how we react to it, if I react to it as an ancestral curse, the thing is from home, as we want to call it in local parlance, then it becomes very difficult. There are times that it is bad. There are times that it's inexplicable. It may even be spiritual. I don't know whether it is true or not. But even with that, your reaction to it will make it intense or less. That's the point I'm trying to make. And there are times that we deny reality, and it also builds our mindset. We may deny that the thing is not happening. When I say react right to interruptions, I'm not saying don't deny that the thing is there. There is a problem unfortunately, many Africans have. They tend to think things are either black or white. But there are times things are both black and white. They don't have to be always black or white. It can be black and white. The thing can be there. The problem can be there all right. But it doesn't mean that it should overcome you. So denying it is not the right attitude. Or there are times the attitude is that let's blame others. Or let's find an excuse. If you have that attitude, you don't handle interruptions very well. And how your mind reacts to interruptions is very important. Let's have mindset number 6. The mindset number 6 is what I call the hidden mindset. The hidden mindset, it shows in your attitude, how you behave. It actually shows in your attitude. Because there are some people who will tell you, they are like a motivational speaker. He stands in front of you and says all the right things, but you put him in adversity. And then you will see that he himself cannot stand the adversity he's been telling you to actually have that hope. For I tweeted about it one day. Look, never preach things you don't practice, because it doesn't make you real. We all go through problems. The point I'm making is your attitude will reveal your true mindset. When something happens, do you say you are a victim? If you say you are a victim, that's your mindset. Or do you act like a victim? That's your mindset. It doesn't matter how much motivation, how much you quote the Bible. In fact, it doesn't matter how much you say you receive. When they pray, you say you receive. It's your action which is determined. If you said in church that I have received, and you have not made the next call the next day, you have not received. Your mind has not told you that you have received. There are those whose mindset make them look up to others. Because so far as they are concerned, they will tell you I have faith, but they won't take an action. Then, those who look up to others have a certain attitude. They excuse themselves for their inadequacy and explain away somebody else's success. It's the only reason why this person achieved is because he is this. The only reason I cannot achieve is because this has happened. So then I end up looking up to something else in order to achieve, because I'm waiting for something that will help me. You give yourself a reason why you have not performed. And that type of attitude doesn't really, if you actually tell yourself, I have faith and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, but you are afraid to take the step through the Christ who has strengthened you, then your attitude is not one that has faith. It's like a tinkling cymbal, as St. Paul will say. And I see it around me every time. Right? Some may even go to the extent of saying that it is witches and it's the background they come from, etc. I don't say there are no witches. But so far as I'm concerned, I have not encountered them. I don't know whether they avoid me when I'm coming, or maybe in my home they are not there. In fact, we used to have one lady in our house that we all thought was the witch of the household. And then we all used to blame her when we were young. Then she died. Now we don't find who to blame. When we get all our misfortunes, like, but this woman, so we have to look for who is a new witch. Let's get to mindset number 7. This is a difficult one. Many people find this very difficult. Did you skip any tweets? You were not supposed to. Go back. It's important. The tweets were very important. Go back, let me see. No, keep going. Back. No, back to where we came. Yeah. No, go back again. Have you skipped any tweets so far? Yeah. Go back, let me see. All right. One more step back. Now let's go forward. Hold on there. You see, I was talking about attitude, and I set the tweets for specific reasons. So please don't skip them. Each of them have a specific reason. The attitude we have is very, very important. I said the entrepreneur who holds tightly to 100% of one, instead of opening up to 10% of 100, is the business equivalent of the political leader who actually makes his country act alone instead of joining others on a big continent. It's a mindset thing. If your mindset tells you that I possess, and the more I possess, the better, it doesn't matter how little what you possess it. You want to grab more. And I write a lot of mindsets, so it's important I draw attention. And I said, is a mindset not the same? Let's go on. I want to see if, now let's go on again. Yeah. I said, those who give monies to prophets in order to secure prophecies that they will be rich in future are just like nations who give out their resources whilst begging for aid. What doesn't matter if you have a poverty mindset, or you will surely follow your mind. It doesn't matter how much money you have if you have a poverty mindset. You will get poor. It's as simple as that. It is not what they say nor what they don't say. What matters is what they believe deep down in their hearts. For that is what they treasure and what dictates their mindset. Everything they do is either a manifestation of that mindset or a smooth screen to hide that mindset. Some people are actually pretending, but what they believe deep down will come out. And it's important that what you believe deep, that's why I said don't pretend. Just be who you are. Let's go on. What you believe defines your mindset, shapes your worldview, and causes you to act. Be careful what you believe, because what really harms you is that which you believe, which is not true. And I wanted us to share this on the 7th point, on the popular beliefs and established beliefs. Can I see that slide? No. Go back to, yeah. There are a lot of popular beliefs that actually, because we've come to accept them, it ends up building a certain mindset in us, which may not be true. And for me, I have a very simple rule in life. I question everything. The more popular the belief, the more I am likely to question it. And especially for those who want to prosper in the future, feel free to question everything. Because if you don't question them, you will live by them. Because you believe it, you act according to it. I've already talked about scarcity. If you believe things are scarce, you know that it's difficult to find it, isn't it? That's what you have told yourself. I studied economics, and I wrote my scarcity and passed. But I don't believe in it. I think it's a totally outdated theory. You know, yesterday I was on TV3, and the only reason I was on TV3 was because about the last Friday, I made a tweet, and I said I was congratulating China and Turkey for having reduced interest rate or monetary policy rate as a way to fight inflation. And somebody invited me to TV3 on a program and said, do I hold an opposing view? And I said, no, I don't hold an opposing view. But I want us to think afresh. Because so far as I'm concerned, increasing interest rate does not fight inflation. And I asked, do you know any Ghanaian who stopped borrowing when interest rate goes up? I don't know any. So for me, I question everything. Do you understand? And when you question everything, doesn't mean you are a revolutionary. You force people to think anew. And for those of us who believe in Christ, he questioned everything around him, didn't he? That's the reason why we are here today. You have to question everything around you. Is it true? And some of these established beliefs are so much, especially in religion. One of them, I'm going outside religion, is that we have no capacity. And this nation and many African nations have been building capacity since I was born. Every time, capacity building. You haven't seen it? Plenty conferences, capacity building. When are you going to have that capacity? When you are made to believe you have no capacity. In fact, I once was a consultant in an African country, and I went, and the guy who had been put there in charge to coordinate with me had done something that I thought, but this was so simple, why didn't you do this? He said, because we have no capacity. He told me that he has no capacity. I was like, goodness me, a person telling himself that he has no capacity for the job that he has been employed. I am not saying don't build capacity, no. Building capacity means having the experience to do that which you want to do. But we forget one basic thing. Experience is only experienced. What else? Tell me. Apart from experiencing it, it is not experienced. You either have the experience or you don't have it. So until you take the step to experience it, you have not experienced it. You will never have that capacity if you don't take the step. It doesn't matter how many capacity building workshops you attend. If you don't take the step, you will never have the capacity. Making a mistake is part of success. It is part of success. But we believe that we don't have capacity. In fact, there are those who even believe that Africa is developing. What does it really mean? If you believe Africa is developing, and if I go around, many people believe that it means that others are developed. In fact, there is everything wrong with those who believe Africa is developing, and as well as those who believe other countries are developed. Because when you say you are developed, it means you have reached your point. You are waiting for others to come and catch up with you. And there are those who believe Africa is poor. I don't get it. In one of my tweets, I said, how is poverty measured? Poverty is measured by whether the person earns less than $2 a day. That's the poverty measured according to the world standard. Okay. In other words, when you live in UK and you use credit card, right? Credit card means you are borrowing the money. You don't have. That's why as soon as there is a small problem, they are all homeless. You don't have the $2, you borrowed. But because you have $2 credit, you are counted among the rich. Go to Butumejebu or somebody who lives in Afiela Yingba. He owns the family land. Does not need to borrow. He owns the mankeni and the cocoa and everything on it. He doesn't earn $2 a day and he's poor. How? But that definition makes you believe you are poor. And therefore you forget all the things around you. You can write that for your exam and pass. But don't let that go into your head. I don't believe it. Africa is not poor. It is African mindset which is poor. And the two are different. I have even met people who actually believe Africa is overpopulated. And I'm like, seriously? What is overpopulation? When you have too many people living in a small area, Africa has 30 million square miles. China has 9 million square miles. In other words, Africa is about 4 times the size of China. China has 1.4 billion people. Africa has 1.3 billion people. Since when did less people living on a larger land become overpopulated? But we believe it. And we've spent a lot of money doing things which are not true. I don't know whether you read that tweet. It is not what you know that hurts you. It is what you know which is not true that hurts you. I'm repeating it. It is not what you know that hurts you. Or it is not what you don't know that hurts you, rather. It is not what you don't know that hurts you. It is what you know which is not true. Because what you don't know, you don't know. What you know which is not true is what is occupying your mindset and letting you act according to that which is not true. I'll tell you one more, and maybe let me see. Look, there are those who actually believe that we don't have a savings culture. You haven't heard that thing? Nothing annoys me more than that. That Ghanaians don't have a savings culture, or Africans don't have a savings culture, and people believe it. People actually, I've seen people who have written PhD theses. I was talking to my friend, an economics lecturer, the other day. Like, really? I asked people who were sitting there, including bankers, doesn't any of you have a grandmother who saves in jewelry, who has dumas, as we call it, or land? What is savings? Savings is that which you keep so that if you are hot, as it were, or broke, you go and retire. Our grandmothers save in jewelry. They buy land. Our problem is not lack of savings. We don't save cash. They are two different things. Not having savings culture is not the same as not saving in cash. Two, we have a different culture where people, because we hold on to things, because of our greed, even when we have 2 houses we are broke, we will not sell one. We will rather be broke and go and borrow and let the house sit there. That's not the same as not saving. Your mindset is one which feels that you can't liquidate your asset. Just drive around Accra, and I'll give you an example. There are many cars, second-hand cars, which have been sitting by the roadside for 4 or 5 years. I can point some out to you. You haven't seen them. They will not reduce the price and sell. Because we count our wealth not in money, but in the assets we have. And we refuse to let those assets be turned into cash. But when you believe collectively that we don't have a savings culture, you don't even realize that you have something you can turn into cash. Many people will find out that they are very, very rich if they decide to now turn what they actually possess into cash. But their minds have been made to believe, especially when you go to school, and I say educated people like making simple things complex. We have no savings culture, and they believe that. Now, these established, let's go on, these kind of attitudes, these kind of beliefs end up creating a situation where you are forced to behave according to how society wants you to behave. Let me see that 7th one, and then we will be moving towards the end. That 7th slide again. Yeah, popular mindset and established theories. There are many, many of them. Let's now read the tweets. Go to the next one. No, the one before. We will end shortly, don't worry. Yes, just stay there. So what defines your mindset are the things that you believe. And it's important that we are careful, because when you turn out and find out that a lot of the things you believe are actually not true, it's truly liberating. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. There are too many lies in this world. In fact, I once tweeted that there are many more lies on TV and in the news than in the rumors on WhatsApp. One day you will find out that there are many more lies which are formally told in the main news than even in the rumors that people have on their backyard. Let's have the next one, please. Yes, we talked about this already. Next one. There are people who live in the past. They still have the mentality that we are no more. If you want to be able to prosper and you are desiring the future, then you should be having a mindset taking you to where you want to go. Let's have the next one. Yeah, let's have the next one. I will end shortly. Okay, next. Keep going. Hold on. Go back one slide. If the people have no skills and resources, but they believe in themselves and are united. Poverty is temporary. And it's very important that you believe in yourself. But if you have all the skills and you lack self-confidence and you are disunited, poverty is actually permanent. It's very important that you have a lot of self-confidence in the things you do. Let's go on. Right. So yes, if you have the right mindset, you can do much, much more. That's very true. But there are two things I want you to remember for those who are desiring to do much more and having a mindset to do much more, which is your theme. Two things. Let's have the next one. Unto him who has more is given. Stay there. Many people misunderstand this verse. It's one of the most misunderstood verses in the Bible. Unto him who has more is given. And that's very true. And he says, unto him who has not, even the little shall be taken away from him. But the question you should ask yourself is, who has? Everybody has. Absolutely everybody has. What is important is to recognize what you have. Because when you compare what you have with what you don't have with what others are having, so far as you are concerned, you don't have. So far as you recognize that you have something little and you work on it, it tends to be more. So if you want to achieve more, first look for what you already have, because some more will be added. And everybody, if you look hard around you, at least you may have one t-shirt. When I left my father's house, I only had 11 CDs. But I recognize I had 11 CDs. One more. But also remember that to whom much is given, much is expected. You know, you either stay where you are, or if you want to achieve more, whatever you achieve will come with a lot of responsibilities. People will keep inviting you, people will come asking you, etc., etc. And unfortunately, if you don't take care, you may fall into the trap, one of two traps. If you are greedy, you may have the mindset where you want to grab everything so much that you will not look at any other thing. But if you happen not to be greedy, you may believe in another falsehood, and I will end with that falsehood. Work-life balance. It's another falsehood, and a lot of people believe in that. They believe that you close from work and then you go into life. So at 5 o'clock, and especially the young people, they have started life, and when they call chilling and they are meeting with, that's what they call life. That's not life. I don't believe in work-life balance. Sorry, I believe in balanced life. There's a difference between work-life balance and balanced life. Because every human being has multiple roles. I am a father, I am a husband, I am a worker, I speak when invited, I may go to church, I serve on boards, I have children. Every single one of these roles is important. And because you achieve more, you have to play each of those roles. And each of them is very important. If you divide life into work and life, you are actually neglecting all aspects of life which are very important. Life is not about work and life. It's simply life in which there is work, in which there are other responsibilities, in which there is faith, in which there is a mindset. Thank you.